You want to know how the White Room created a monster? Fine, I'll tell you, but you won't like what you hear, 'cause the truth isn't comforting. It's not heroic. It's not the story of a boy who dreamed big and made it. It's the story of someone who was stripped of everything, and then rebuilt from the ground up into something inhuman. The White Room, a place where sunlight didn't matter, where laughter was forbidden, where emotions were weaknesses to be erased. It wasn't a school, it was a laboratory, a system designed to break human beings and recreate them into weapons. Inside those walls, we didn't have names, we didn't have birthdays, we didn't have childhoods. We were data points, variables in an equation of perfection. Every day was the same routine. Wake up before dawn, train, study, analyze, repeat until your mind bled from exhaustion. Sleep was a privilege, failure was a sin. If your numbers dropped, you disappeared. No warnings, no second chances. One day they were there, the next, gone. That's what fear does to you when it's constant. It doesn't make you stronger, it makes you colder. I learned early that emotions had no place there. Compassion made you weak, empathy made you vulnerable. So, I buried mine, deeper and deeper, until I couldn't feel them anymore. They told us that pain was information, that tears were useless, that hesitation was death. You see, the White Room didn't create strength, it created emptiness, an emptiness so vast that only purpose could fill it. But that's the thing, when you strip away fear, love, and hope, what's left isn't a person, it's a mechanism, a construct that moves only when necessary. Every exercise was designed to destroy our individuality. If someone fell behind, we weren't allowed to help. If someone cried, we ignored it. If someone failed, we stepped over them and kept walking. That's how the monster was born. Not through rage, not through hatred, but through silence. Because silence can shape you more brutally than screams ever could. You might think I'm exaggerating, that it's impossible to erase humanity completely. But in the White Room, the impossible was the baseline. Imagine this. You're given a puzzle to solve, fail, and you don't eat. You hesitate, and you're punished. You show fatigue, and you're isolated until you stop showing it. Day after day, month after month, year after year, until your body stops reacting to pain, until your mind stops needing comfort, until your soul stops asking why. That's when they know the transformation is complete. That's when the White Room smiles and says, "Congratulations, you've become what we wanted." But there's a hidden cost. When you remove emotions, you also remove meaning. Without meaning, even victory feels empty. Without weakness, strength loses its purpose. So yes, the White Room created a monster, but not the kind you fear, not the one that roars or destroys, the kind that observes, the kind that waits, the kind that moves only when the world underestimates him. People think strength comes from passion, from fire, from emotion, but that's what makes most of them weak. True strength is emotion under complete control. It's the ability to feel everything and show nothing. That's what the White Room taught me. To hide chaos behind stillness, to wear calmness like armor, to smile while planning 3 steps ahead. They called it detachment. I call it survival. When I left the White Room, I wasn't free. I was unchained. But freedom means nothing when your instincts are built for war. I looked at people and I saw patterns. I saw manipulation. I saw fear. Every word they spoke had a purpose. Every gesture was a move. While they were playing checkers, I was playing a game no one else understood. That's what happens when your entire childhood was chess. When every friendship was a test. When every conversation had hidden motives. You stop trusting anyone and start analyzing everyone. They say the White Room built a genius. But genius isn't what they built. They built control. They built precision. They built someone who could walk into chaos and remain unaffected. People mistake that for arrogance. But it's not arrogance. It's calculation. When you've lived where hesitation meant death, you don't hesitate anymore. When you've survived a place that punished emotion, you learn to weaponize silence. Most people can't understand this. They think they want to be like me, cold, unshakable, untouchable, but they don't understand what that costs. To reach that state, you must lose something irreversible. You must kill parts of yourself that once made you human. And once they're gone, they never come back. That's why I don't envy the person I became. I simply accept him, because denial is weakness. 2. The White Room's purpose wasn't to create perfection. It was to prove that perfection could exist, even if it had to destroy hundreds of lives to find it. I was the one who survived. But survival doesn't mean victory. It means you learn to become less than human to outlive the rest. They call that success. I call it conditioning. Still, I won't pretend the White Room failed, because the truth is, it worked. It built someone who doesn't break, someone who doesn't fear, someone who doesn't stop. And in a world filled with weakness and excuses, that's all it takes to dominate. You want to know the secret? The monster they created isn't someone to fear. It's someone to learn from. Because while you waste energy chasing motivation, the monster builds discipline. While you talk about dreams, the monster executes plans. While you cry over rejection, the monster studies your emotions and uses them against you. The White Room didn't just train the body, it reprogrammed the mind. It taught me that control is everything, that emotions are tools, not truths, that chaos is predictable when you stop reacting to it. That's the real monster they created. Not a beast of rage, but a mind so calm it becomes unstoppable. You see, monsters aren't born from darkness. They're born from order so strict that humanity suffocates under it. That's what you need to understand if you want to grow stronger. You can't stay soft and expect to rise. You can't chase comfort and expect control to become unbreakable. You must endure the breaking. To gain clarity, you must lose everything that clouds it. The White Room was my crucible. Yours might be your failures, your loneliness, your rejection, but the principle is the same. Pain creates change, isolation creates focus, discipline creates power. So ask yourself, how much of your weakness are you still protecting? How much of your comfort are you willing to sacrifice? Everyone wants strength, until they realize what it costs. They want to be feared, but they still crave validation. They want to win, but they refuse to let go of distraction. That's why they'll never become monsters, because the monster doesn't seek approval. He seeks dominance. When the White Room ended, I didn't walk out proud. I walked out empty. But emptiness can be useful. It's a blank canvas. And from that nothingness, I built something powerful. Control, precision, calm, the ability to face pressure and not flinch. That's what the world sees now. They think it's talent. They think it's luck. They think it's natural genius. But the truth? It's just discipline forged in silence. And silence forged in pain. Most people wouldn't survive a single day in the White Room because they still need emotion to move. They still need praise to believe in themselves. They still need someone to remind them they're strong. I didn't have that luxury. I had to build strength from nothing, to operate without emotion, to create movement without motivation. And that's the difference. That's why I win. So yes, the White Room created a monster, but that monster is what the world forced me to become. Every cruel system, every fake smile, every manipulative person, they don't realize they're the reason monsters exist. Because when you push someone too far, when you strip them of everything soft, what's left is someone who no longer fears pain. And someone who doesn't fear pain can't be controlled. That's why monsters rule in silence. Because they've already conquered the one thing everyone else is still running from, themselves. You want to be unstoppable? Then learn to be alone. Learn to suffer. Learn to train when no one claps for you. You want to evolve? Then stop seeking balance and start embracing extremes. Because the world doesn't reward balance. It rewards dominance. The White Room wasn't hell. Hell has fire. Hell has screams. Hell has life. The White Room had nothing. And that nothingness was worse than pain. But from that void, I emerged, not because I was chosen, but because I refused to break. And that's the mindset you need to build. Stop asking for motivation. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Start operating in silence. Because monsters are made in isolation. And once you become one, the world will have no choice but to notice. So if you really want to know how the White Room created a monster, remember this. It didn't happen through magic. It happened through destruction, through repetition, through control, through an obsession with becoming unshakable. And now, While others sleep through comfort, I remain awake in purpose. That's the legacy of the White Room. It built me into something the world can't understand and can't destroy, because the monster it created learned one final truth. You can break the body, you can erase the name, you can strip the identity, but you can't stop the mind that refuses to die. That's how the White Room created a monster, and that's why I'll never lose.